to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's 10:30 p.m. on the East Coast and 9:30 a.m. here in Bangkok. Obviously, I just woke up a little bit ago. Didn't even shower. Just jumped. Changed my shirt. We've got the old Bitcoin altcoin trading talk shirt, keeping kids off fiat. Since we are getting ready to be bullish on crypto again, but not just yet. And I'm going to go into that in the show today. We'll see how many people are actually watching live, but if you're watching later, thank you for joining. Hopefully you didn't get too bullish with this move, because I think that this might be a fake out, and we're going to go into it later in the show. I'm going to talk about the S&P first, the dollar. We're going to look at what's going on in the global financial market, what just happened with the 401k executive order that Trump signed, everything related to that, because it's bullish, but not as bullish as you might think it is in the short term. It really doesn't have any effect for quite a while. So I'll talk about that later in the show. Anyway, I'm going to shrink myself and we're going to jump into the charts. Okay, hello, San Antonio. All right, there I am in my little corner. Should be good. We'll drink a little bit of coffee here. Okay, I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller. I feel like it's just too big. The chart is more important. Okay, yeah, so starting with the S&P. Okay, yeah, this new AI software I'm running is causing my computer to run a little bit slower. It's definitely stressing things. Super hot. Sold my longs, going to take a short. Yeah, are you talking about on Bitcoin or S&P, Mr. San Antonio? Okay, so starting on S&P, you can see on a weekly chart, we're actually bearish on the MACD. Look at that. Oh, sorry, daily. Weekly, we're very bullish. So we always start on the higher time frame, right? This was our original breakout back here in May. And you can see ever since that breakout right back here, we've basically gone straight up. There's been no stopping. MACD confirms the same, just straight up. Really no reason to get bearish on the S&P yet. However, the daily did break down, and I will get into these signals here shortly. But the daily did break down, and this was the panic here. So in my room in the Discord, I was long. I said crypto would rebound from here, so we would get a bounce, and then I expected us to reach down into a new low on Bitcoin as well. But we didn't. That's the crazy thing. So if you go to these lower time frames, so right here, I expected us to roll over and then continue down to here. But instead, we bounced, and now we're all the way up here. And the question is, is that it? Everyone's wondering, is that the bottom? Are we going to go up from here? Same with Bitcoin. Same with basically every risk asset. Are we heading higher from here, or do we get that retrace? This is a tough read, because now the weekly chart is bullish, but this daily chart is starting to turn bullish as well. However, MACD is extremely negative. Okay, so it's saying that my video stream is having issues. Damn, this is really stressing the translation software is really stressing the computer, which is crazy considering I have a very new computer. We're gonna keep going. You guys tell me if you see any issues. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna make one adjustment and see if I can unlock a little bit better performance here. Hold on one second. Let me one second, guys. Let me just adjust this quickly so that we don't have any issues. Put my computer into like extremely high power mode. Full speed. Yeah, here we go. Okay. There. So now we should get better performance. Let's see. I just put it into high performance overclocking mode. Okay, yeah, it seems like it's improved already. Okay, so look, this is a daily chart. You can see this midpoint providing a rejection, and if we go to, we really have to go to lower time frames for this. I'm gonna get rid of this line. This is not useful. I'm gonna get rid of this as well. We had a 7 and 8 that came in on the 4 hour along with our midpoint tag, and we came right into my short zone. So where is my short zone? 78.6 and 88.6. Right here. Right here. Perfect short spot. And you can see how the market rolled over very quickly there, and now it's rebounding to kind of anybody that was a late short. What they're doing here is they're taking out any late shorts, right? Because this move happened extremely fast. So when you get a fast move like this, often the market likes to retrace up at least half to 3/4 of that original dump candle, because that people ended up getting in here or here. So the market needs to take out all of those late shorts. Really, the only people that were safe were the ones up here that took the risk without confirmation of the move. The market wants to stop out everyone else. It's brutal, I know. Brutal, 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 brutal. Now, if we go to a 1 hour, we can see we're already printing a 7 and 8. But as of right now, no rollover yet. 4 hour, however, although the MACD looks bullish, for me, this is the start of the next lower move. We basically get something like this. I expect a dip right down to here. 170, 180, this area to really scare people. It's going to be, it's going to create I hate this term. It's going to create like a tail, right, like that. So we're going to get that dump down and then pump up, and we're going to be back within this uptrend. But it's going to be enough to scare a lot of people that the market's going to roll over. But the market is not going to roll over yet. We have higher to go. Now, why do I think that? Because the money printer is still on, right? So if we put on M2 money supply, right, and we go to a daily chart. I just show it on the Bitcoin chart because it's clearer. And I talk about this all the time, right? So here we go. Like this. So you can see how we're starting to move higher with Bitcoin. Now, according to M2, we should be pumping from here. However, I think we're going to get one last retrace to stop everyone out down here, 111, 110K. I still believe that's the case. I will talk about it more later when we go in depth to Bitcoin. I just wanted to show you the M2 money supply chart. Wow, look how it lines up with my 4.669. So this will be the end of the bull run, mid-September area. That's when we should see a pullback. Now, if this starts pumping again, then we'll see higher. But as of right now, that's kind of the pause or the end. Okay, so let's go back here to the S&P. So you see what I'm talking about with the M2 and why we should continue higher. But I'm looking for this pullback fake out. Why is it saying that the video is the video fine for you? Hi Brian. Is the video fine for you guys, or is it choppy? Because YouTube keeps telling me that the stream status is poor. Why is it poor? Doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna try to close a couple other things. It's saying the stream status is poor. I don't know how to improve it. To me, it looks fine. Everything's running well on my computer. Yeah, I think it's very important to watch M2. Can you guys tell me if the stream seems okay? Is it stuttery for you? Because for me, it seems fine. Yeah, weird. I think YouTube is intentionally not pushing this out because it says the stream health is having an issue. Annoying. But I think it's fine. Okay, thanks. All right, let's get back to this. This is a breakdown for me. We have a recovery. We have a 7 and 8 coming in. initial breakdown could be an ABCD like this. I'm not saying it right here. We could go right up to 6375. Before then, we roll over, take out all these lows, and this could be the close going into Friday tomorrow. Let's actually check our max pain levels. Now, it's important to focus on what the SPX is going to do because that will affect crypto. Not always, but a lot of the time. Okay, so max pain is basically 6,300, 6,330. For me, it looks like 6,300. What does this say is the max pain? Yeah, 6,300. So 6,330. So that's basically right here. So around that level, I expected. So that could be your close potentially. I'm not saying guaranteed, but that potentially could be your close going into the end of trading tomorrow. And that's why right now I'm still looking for lower. I don't want to get overly bullish just yet. The daily does look like it wants to turn bullish, but look at MACD. MACD is still negative. But this is, so over the past 2 months, I've been mostly, I'd say 3 months, I've been basically spot on. This is the hardest call, this pullback, because we are going against the weekly time frame, which is still bullish. It's very bullish. So understand that this is a tough call. I think it will happen. I'm leaning towards it happening, but there is probably a 30% to 40% chance that I'm wrong in this one. This is not a good trading area for me. It looks like a no man's zone. If you want to be on the safer side, I would do nothing here. If we get the pullback, you can enter some long trades. However, shorting is a bit risky. Just understand that. So that's something important to keep in mind here. I feel shorting is risky in this area. Having said that, I do think we'll head lower. So that's my theory. Okay, but keep in mind that this is my lowest probability of anything I've given a prediction on in probably the last 3 months. Okay, that's S&P. Let's look at the dollar. So Trump doesn't like a strong dollar, right? He wants to bring back American manufacturing. And that's showing in the charts here. Ever since he took office, the dollar's basically been just completely destroyed. And I do think he's doing that on purpose to encourage exports from the US, which sucks for people like me because the Thai baht has gotten like 10% more expensive compared to the US dollar. So everything in Thailand is 10% more expensive for me. My rent went up approximately $120 a month, which is it's not the end of the world, but it's a little bit annoying. And you can see we're still bearish here. There's no real reversal. Daily chart might be putting in a bottom. Weekly chart, as long as it's below this VIP line, I can't get excessively bullish. MACD has turned bullish, but I think we could see a second leg down that might even break this uptrend. That would be big. If we broke this uptrend, that would be a big deal. Not guaranteed it's going to happen, but that would be it would be a very big deal if that happened. So something I'm keeping an eye on. I wanted to touch base. Brian's been talking a lot about treasuries, so I wanted to look at TLT. What is going on here? For me, this is still in a consolidation phase. No breakout yet. I do agree that once they lower interest rates, we could get a big move higher. I don't know about how high though. If we get a breakout, we're going to have stiff resistance here at 100, basically around 100. And then the next level will be 120. That's my conservative prediction. And I think this could take a long time to play out. So I think it's good that Brian bought a lot of time. But for me, this trade isn't ready yet. I'm still waiting and watching. I want to see further pullback, and maybe I'll consider entering something down here. I still like the idea. I think it's a good idea, but I think there's more time here. This isn't, and Brian's mentioned this, that he's like slowly adding to the trade and doesn't expect it to happen right away. So for me, I'm going to watch for further consolidation and then consider longs. But for now, this seems like it's in a consolidation pattern, maybe some type of accumulation happening here. You can see on a monthly chart also, it's just kind of consolidating, but it could be getting ready to move higher. This could this can make a nice W down here. You can see MACD has been bullish for a while, but nothing's really happened. Now, if this does W out, let's say we go. So right now I've got my conservative prediction to 100. But if this breaks, then you get this. This is kind of, that's the big move, right? So that's your 165. And you can see on your way up, these are your levels. So consolidating, but this could take a while, right? This might not happen right away. So just keep in mind that this is a really long trade. This could take over a year plus to play out. And I would be cautious with thinking anything kind of in the short term here with this. All right, so I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Looking at, okay, so Joby, I've talked about before, right? So they reported earnings, not great at all. And that's why I suggested waiting, looking for a pullback on this before you consider any longs. And it looks like we're getting that now. So nice breakdown on the daily. I want to see a pullback down here to like $10. I even set alerts below 13, 12, and I'll set another one down here at around 11. I'll start to get interested again down here. Nice to see my original target got blown out. That was great. I also have a couple other stocks I'm looking at that I'm watching. Some I have positions in already. One is this Canaan stock that, you know, on a weekly chart, it looks like it's trending up. It's trying to make some sort of bottom here. And it really retraced a lot. If we head to the daily, you can see it's starting to put in some type of W down here. Can you look at gold? Looks like it's broken. Yeah, I can look at gold. Not really that interested in it, but you know, I think it's just a long. Metals are just something that protected inflation, so I don't get too excited about those. But we can definitely look at it. There's your kind of W that's coming in. So I could see this. I mean, if this is the top of the range, right, and this is the bottom, like even a conservative one here, this could go all the way to 250, right up to these previous highs. You could even look at it like this. Say this is the low of the range, and you head up to 78.6, 68, 61.8. This could be a big move, and I think this will coincide with the crypto move. So that's something I'm watching. Another one is IonQ. So IonQ breaking down on the daily chart doesn't look good. Weekly chart also doesn't look great. Big divergence there. So I'm in shorts on IonQ, and I am looking for it to roll over. I've been watching it for a while. This is why I'm short only via the stock, not options, because this is this is taking a long time, and I'd rather not worry about my theta decay in my options. QBTS, definitely a lot less people viewing at this time. I might go back to the nighttime, but I do prefer the morning hours. So qubits, well, D-Wave, but it's QBTS. It's slowly breaking down on a weekly chart. Massive divergence. Although you can see you had it here as well, and then it went and rallied. But I don't think it's going to work out a second time. So slow breakdown, starting to confirm. Weekly chart also looks like it wants to break down, but it's kind of just sitting up here for a while, ever since May. That's, what is that, 3 months? Yeah, so almost 3 months. And this is why, again, I'm short only via the stock. I am not short any kind of options because this could just sit up here for a while. But that's another one I'm looking to see it roll over. I have SENS is one I'm watching. Sensionic Holdings, which looks like crap right now. Pretty disappointed with this one. Nice breakout on a monthly chart here, and now a retrace to the downside. This was your original breakout. It keeps getting rejected by this weekly downtrend. Nothing to get too excited about here. It's still kind of in a downtrend, but I am watching it, but not really that happy with its performance. but it has come back into it's back in the reload zone now. Yeah, basically back in your reload zone at these levels around 50 cents. So I just thought I'd mention that one if you guys want to look into it. It's just one I've got a small position in and I'm watching for. UNH, right? We've been talking about this one a bunch. Still waiting on this breakout on the daily. That's what you need for bullish confirmation. But you can see how this dumped hard, and I think a lot of people bought options here expecting a move higher. And as I've mentioned, what market makers often do is they don't move higher. They either stay like this for 2 months and then move up, or they let it break down one more time before moving higher. And that's exactly what's happening here, and why, again, I only bought long. So I bought long positions here, and now I've bought again down here, but just stock. So I can add to my position if we go lower. I'm not bothered by time, and I don't have leverage or anything like that. I'm just slowly adding to this position because I do expect it to recover. But right now it does look like crap. Like on a weekly chart, this is absolute disaster. I'm just slowly adding to this. This is not a insanely huge position for me, but it is starting to get pretty big, decent size. But I expect this to eventually recover. 200-day monthly moving average, it's going to hit there. And we can see actually if we go to the lowest point right here back in 2020, we're right at that 88.6 level. So this is a good area to maybe consider. And you've got a TD9 on a monthly chart. That has to mean something. TD9 on a monthly, it's gone down for 9 months now. So something to take a look at, consider it. You know, I think this could pay well eventually. Eventually. Key is eventually. Okay. Coin, you know, obviously I'm sure you guys are interested in coin. Let's start with a monthly chart and then we'll head lower. So monthly still basically in an uptrend here. 2 week still in that uptrend. Weekly as well, still in that uptrend. And we've had a bit of a retrace, you know, following Bitcoin. This is a nice area to start considering longs. I think we can get one more low. You can see how ugly this daily chart really is. Look at that. So, you know, I want to see us on the other side of this daily trend line before I can really get super bullish. I'm going to put an alert. I am slowly adding to longs. Again, stock only, spot positions, no leverage here, because this could take a little bit of time. And this helps provide confluence to what my theory is with the rest of the crypto market. I think that people in stockland know that Bitcoin's not ready to go to all-time highs just yet. If they were, if they knew it was going to happen, coin would be rallying. But instead, it's pulling back. They're washing people out. And we are not yet at our extreme buying zone. We only hit the 50% level. I think a better level is 200-day moving average, 260 area, 270. You know, so expect potentially a second leg down to tag this area and then our move up. Okay, hi Gills, how are you? Yeah, Heffron, I will look at gold after I finish with Bitcoin or coin. So that's what I'm seeing with coin. I wouldn't get long yet. I would wait. I'm going to set an alert somewhere below there and another one down here, 270. And we'll set one right above the highs just in case, but I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, let's take a quick look at gold as per Mr. Heffron's request. Hopefully he's still watching. You said it looks like it's broken to the upside. So far on a weekly chart, gold is technically still in an uptrend. It's looking like it's consolidating here. My final 4.669 target is at 3,700. MACD is still bearish. But, however, on a daily chart, we are trying to break out a little bit higher. But I think this is, for now, potentially a false breakout. On a 4-hour, you have a 7 and 8 coming in. I think you're still in a range here. you will break out eventually, but I don't like the idea of longing at the top of a range. If you really want to get long, use my traditional range entry strategy, which is look at the lowest recent low and look at the recent high, and then enter around 78.6, 88.6 area, sometimes 61.8 if you want to get that early entry. So expect some kind of retrace entry around here, and then you can consider holding for that breakout long. I don't think entering up here is a smart decision. You can check a bunch of my older videos about how well these entries work. Sometimes you do get stopped out. For example, this would have been a potential long where you would have been stopped out. But let's say you were trying to get long here, you would have at least gotten in at your 61.8 retracement. But then if you went and you did it here, you would have been stopped out. And then down here also you would have been stopped out. So it doesn't always work, but it works quite often. That's what I would kind of watch for. You can also see the divergence on the 4-hour suggesting we will retrace first, and it's not ready to just take off yet. I would recommend caution. Okay, if you're long, you can hold it. It's fine. You're in a range on a weekly chart. If you have spot positions, we're gonna head higher. Like this isn't over yet. You haven't broken down from this 9 EMA. You can see how gold's just been on absolute tear here on a weekly chart. This has been slow though. It's been slow. It's not, it's been faster than here. But you can see how all my levels have been obeyed very well. I might even want to adjust this a little bit. I do feel like this is basically the correct level, and 3,700 is where we should expect to go. We're just consolidating for that last move higher. Okay, so that's gold. I think we can move into crypto now. I've got 10 people watching. So I think at this point we can move into crypto. Although, I wanted to talk about Tesla really fast. Tesla, nice consolidation here on a weekly chart. And it looks like it's getting ready to break out higher. Nice little, huge. MACD has barely pulled back and looks like it wants higher. Daily chart also looking like it wants higher, but it has been consolidating. And this is another one where you buy down here at the low of the range and you hope for that eventual breakout. And that's what it looks like is coming with Tesla. Now, what's the first target? Likely something conservative like this. Up to 420 is where I could see us moving to. But nice consolidation here in the range. This was the original W breakout level right here. Right, so something like this, where you tag that 1.618. Your next level will be right with that 420 I just talked about, around 2.618, with the final target being 577, and potential higher targets all the way up here. But those are my main targets in the short term. That's where I could see Tesla going. Now, how fast does that happen? We can try to create a parallel channel. And I'm not saying this is going to be perfectly right. I'm doing this very quickly on the fly. If we respect this parallel channel, the earliest that could happen is August 11th. I highly doubt that. If we take a mid approach, October, and I'm doing this because in case you're like looking at options in Tesla land. So what I like to do is I like to look at the worst possible scenario on some kind of uptrend like this. So that would be January 2026. So you could consider options for 420 expiring in January. I think that would give you sufficient time for this to hit midpoint by October sometime. That's a bit, I think it's a bit risky. And it's better to go with the worst case scenario when considering options. So that's kind of what I could see happening with Tesla here. And I think if we look here, how long after the breakout did it take to move? Let's say this is the breakout here, and it moved within 30 days. Everything's usually 30 days. So if we say that the breakout's happening very soon, then your high is reached around September 11th. But let's say it gets delayed another week, then you hit around the beginning of October. I think that might be if you really want to cut it close and try, you can go mid-October. You might get a slightly better return, but you've massively increased your risk. So just keep that in mind. All right, crypto. Let's talk about crypto. Bitcoin. I think this is a fake out move. We can see M2 still increasing, but it did stop, right? So we have that pullback happening. I'm gonna hide it. And we can see how we bounced. Now, why did this happen? Why didn't we hit my 111K? I don't know. I don't know why that didn't happen. We missed my low. I wanted that second low. It didn't happen. Everything else followed my short-term plan, except for that. However, I like that we're rejecting here. This is a big rejection. If we look at, I'm going to get rid of this trend line, actually. Let's make this chart a little bit clearer here. And let's try to look at this. You can see we go to here. How? Well, if we go to here, we hit my 78.6. If we go to here, if we go all the way to the high, where did we retrace to? I think 50%. See how we hit exactly the 50% level? It's a nice rejection area. Yeah, but there is a potentially possibility that we hit this 61.8 and even 78.6 before then we do that retracement. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think that this is, wait, don't quote me yet. Yeah, actually on these lower time frames. So let's go, wait, let's go a little bit lower. So first of all, weekly, we're still obviously in a bullish uptrend. I'm going to start with this. On a weekly chart, we are still in a bullish uptrend. Although we're starting to see some divergence come in, but for now, it's still a bullish uptrend. So if you have long-term spot holdings, I do not recommend selling. I don't recommend shorting. You're going to be going against the trend. So just keep that in mind, okay? The safer strategy is to wait for the pullback and get long. Now, if the pullback doesn't happen, then you're fine. You still have your spot positions, and maybe you just missed out on a little bit of extra money, but at least you didn't lose money. It's worse. Trust me, from someone who's lost plenty of money trading, it's better to not make money than it is to lose money. So keep in mind, if you are considering shorting here, it's like a double risk trade because you're going against the higher time frame bullish trend. However, if you're still determined to do that, short areas would be up here potentially 118. However, we could have just rejected from here. This is tough. This is really a tough area to consider any kind of shorting. But from my perspective, I think we could tag all the way up here at 119, take out these highs before then we finally roll over. Now, why do I think that we could roll over? It's because this daily on a MACD is still in a downtrend right here, right? So this has not broken out yet. There's quite a bit of resistance, and this might have been the high, because if we have another spike up to this 119, it's going to have to be very fast. Something like boom, boom, and that's it. Otherwise, it transforms into a bullish pattern, and it needs to break higher. But I don't know. I don't know if this was the rejection point and we're going to head lower, or we need one more push higher. I mean, we can look at liquidations here, but again, I don't really believe in this. I think it doesn't, it works, but it doesn't work. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. Exchange liquidation. Oh, this is interesting. Hyper liquid liquidation map. That's interesting. A lot of liquidations on the downside here. That's pretty cool. So definitely below this 113. A lot down here as well. 2.2 billion. Only 1.1 billion on the upside. But this is just the... What about if we go to a 7-day chart? There's really not a lot of liquidations on the upside, but a lot on the downside. That does make an argument for that liquidation I've been talking about. Let's look at the symbol. 3-day chart. Not a lot to the upside. It already took out a good amount of liquidations. Major liquidations down here, 111. So you can see how this was the low, and now people set their stops right below the low. I'd like to see a dump all the way down to like 110 to really take out all of those liquidation levels. Now keep in mind, I'm trying to forecast out 1 to 2 weeks. I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow, but I think by next week you could see this play out. And I do believe this is a false move higher. There's too much down here to not take this out. The question is, do they take out this 118 area first and then head lower? So that's the concern, and that's why I'm recommending caution. And I'm saying you're going against the trend by doing this. Consider only looking for the long. Don't short. That's what I'm saying. That's hopefully that makes sense. Let me check one more thing here. One second, guys. Okay. All right. So that's what I'm seeing. Keep in mind we could hit higher here before finally rolling over. Hello, Hector. Total 3 chart. We can look at total 3, yeah. I don't like to look at, I think total 3 is more accurate, but I don't like to look at it because it's harder for people to relate and understand. But we can take a look. So total 3, you've got a 7, 8, and 9 on the 1 hour. Daily is looking bullish. 4 hour also looking very bullish. It's definitely more bullish than the Bitcoin chart, that's for sure. However, we are hitting the top of this trend line. Yeah, Brian, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. You're gonna have to describe it a little bit more. I don't know what you're talking about really. Blow off top targets. I don't know if you're talking about like targets months from now. Obviously, weekly again, still in an uptrend. Daily chart is all over the place. 4 hour is extremely bullish. There's no denying that this is a very bullish chart. Extremely bullish. However, the 1 hour is hitting a TD9, and you can see the last time that happened, we got a bit of a pullback. So we're hitting resistance here plus a trend line. You're nearing the end of this push more than anything. Now, why are we getting this push higher? A big part is because of that 401k executive order that got approved by Trump yesterday / today. And I think something you need to keep in mind, and I talked to Grok about this. So Trump signed an executive order directing what's called the DOL to review and clarify guidance on alternative assets like crypto in a 401k within the next 180 days. So there's no immediate buying of crypto happening. 401ks are not immediately buying crypto. He's having the DOL check, review, and clarify guidelines to see if people can buy crypto. So right now, most investors cannot, in their 401k, cannot buy crypto, and they're not going to suddenly be able to buy crypto. So that massive amount of liquidity is not coming yet. If it's going to happen, it'll happen in 6 months to a year. So understand that this is headline driven. Okay, this is the pump just from headlines. It's not actual money coming in. This is just a headline driven pump. So I want you to keep that in mind. Now, on a lower time frame, this looks very bullish. However, I think that this is a range and a stop run. And we can see here, that's your last high. Your 78.6 is right here. So this could be your potential tag and shorting zone. We could also look at BTCD and how it's rolling over hard here. This is being driven a lot by alts. You can see how alts came up and basically hit my target. I was a little bit higher, but we're kind of following the pattern. I'm surprised at how fast this is dropping off. I guess because they're easier to manipulate, and that's why this looks so much more bullish. Like I can pull up something like Ethereum, right? Ethereum's going crazy here. Yeah. Oh. Ethereum's taking out the highs, stopping out anyone that was short, and creating a bit of a divergence with MACD. On the daily chart, right? Major divergence here. So, but I would be cautious up here. I really would. I'm going to set an alert for once this breaks down. To me, this is a range. This isn't like a fresh breakout just yet. They were just coming up to these highs. I think they want to flush people out a little bit more, but we are bullish, right? So I'm not saying if you short, just understand that it's a bit dangerous. We can look at the liquidation heat map. Oh, 15 people watching now. Nice. So 1 week. See how we took out all these levels up here? And now we have everything down here to potentially take out. We can go on different time frames. 48 hours. Look at all of that down here. There's nothing above. Nothing to liquidate. It's all down below. Right? So why wouldn't they go and liquidate that? Take a look at Ethereum here. It's only Bitcoin. How do I? Here, Ethereum. There are a lot of liquidations up here at 5,000. There's one at 4,000 here. Maybe they take out that 4,000 and then they head lower. There's not a lot of liquidations on Hyperliquid, only here at 3,700. Definitely could take that out. But if we go down to 3,600 here, based on all the other exchanges, you get 3 billion in liquidations, while on the upside, you don't even get a billion at 4,000. So 3 billion to that downside target makes a strong argument for why we should go lower. Can I see Ethereum here? Here, Binance, ETH. So 3,700, 1 billion, but to the upside, you've only got 200. If we look at a 7-day, yeah, billion all the way down to 3,500. Basically nothing to the upside. So strong case for why we've just taken out the upside liquidations and we've got to go lower now. Let's check this, by the way, crypto fear and greed. Still in greed area. I think this is a great way to suck people in. You can see how on Link also we're heading up to this midpoint target, big breakout. I still think this is a fake out. We're going to hit this 2.618 at about 19. And then I think we can head lower. That's what I'm kind of seeing here. Massive breakout in Link. It's crazy. See something that's a 4-hour. Big breakout here as well on Ethereum, but not as bullish as here as Link. This was crazy. Look at that move. Weekly chart, very bullish still. We go back to Bitcoin. You can see how it's really not doing well. So the real question again is, do we get that move up to 118, 119 area before our pullback, or do we pull back and take out those liquidation lows? That's the real question here. I would hunt for longs more than anything. That's the safe approach. If you want to try to short up here for that move down, you can. I'm just saying it's a little bit dangerous. Same with Ethereum. I think we get a rollover. Not yet. I would wait for this 1 hour to break down to consider any shorts. But this is looking like this is a fake move driven by that 401k crypto order to get people really excited, start longing. I think all of crypto Twitter is basically bullish, and then we can get that dump, and we do. I don't think we're going to go to the lows, but we do something like this right there, and then we can move higher. That would make sense to me. Let's take a look at the others chart. Others, I bet that's really rallying a lot. yeah, you can see it's rallying quite a bit. This is kind of our uptrend that we've been looking at here with our 1.618, 2.618, and eventually 4.618 target. Weekly, obviously, still bullish. I just like to show it to start. Daily, even we've broken out, so that's also bullish. I'm just concerned about Bitcoin. I'm definitely concerned about Bitcoin here. I can't justify any kind of shorts or recommend any shorts here just yet, but I'm concerned about Bitcoin, and that's why I'm going to watch on this 1 hour chart for any sort of breakdown, but I can't actually recommend any shorts until we get a real breakdown. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Do I have anything more for you guys related to this? Not really. We're hitting my 1.618, assuming this is an uptrend. And 4.669 in this short-term move is basically up here above these highs, which is at the top end. It's at the top end of my kind of uptrending channel here, which, yeah, like that makes more sense. Well, it would be blow off, actually. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't expect this kind of move, by the way. This is a pretty extreme alt move. There was no real signal, no real divergence that came in. On the 4 hour, I guess you had some, but on these higher time frames, you really didn't get much of a warning that this would happen. It took me a bit by surprise. Bitcoin is following, for the most part, the analysis that I've been posting in the Discord, but alts have really blown the top off here. I guess alts are the hardest to trade. If you want to trade and almost guarantee that you might lose money, you just trade alts. Short and long on leverage, basically guaranteed to lose money. Bitcoin is quite a bit easier, kind of obeys the rules, but altcoins really don't. So something to keep in mind. I don't have a plan for this other than, don't short it for now. I am in long spot. I'm not touching it with leverage. I had some leverage shorts down here. I got blown out, so I'm out of those, and I'm just waiting with my spot long positions to see if this will reset lower. But as of right now, it looks very bullish on these altcoins, more so even than Ethereum and Bitcoin, but not always reliable to trade off of the altcoin charts. They don't follow technical analysis very well. The easier something is to manipulate, the less likely it is to follow traditional technical analysis. And that's why it's better to trade Ethereum, Bitcoin, things like that, if you're using traditional technical analysis. I think everything else, you kind of just have to buy with spot and then pray from there. Anything else is pretty dangerous, I would say. Do you guys want to look at any other coins? Otherwise, I think that's it. I'll give you guys like 2 minutes to think about it if you want to look at anything. Nothing? Pendle. Okay. Yeah, weekly chart. I mean, you're basically breaking out here, right? That's your W breakout area. Looks like it wants to break out and move quite a bit higher. It looks very bullish on the weekly chart. Divergence here on a daily. Hate that. That's ugly. But definitely, if you're holding spot, I think you're fine. Should eventually head higher. I don't really have any short-term predictions on that. Oh, this one is ugly. I guess this was your W. right there. Eventually you could hit $2. I could see that happening. Not as strong as other altcoins for sure. Looks like it's trading more with Ethereum and Bitcoin than with some other coins that are breaking out. So not as much strength there. LTC. Yeah, I mean, Litecoin obviously looks strong. Eventual target based on this ABCD I drew a while back is 180 it could go to. It looks like it's trying to break out from this long-term consolidation here. Yeah, on a monthly, you can see how that's kind of playing out, but it's not a pretty chart at all. In the short term, this daily looks like it wants to break down. Like you've got divergence here all over the place. It's really only the like shit coins that are going up at this point, like really small caps, like Link. Not even, I wouldn't call Link a shit coin, but it's like it's not a top 10 coin. Spell, yeah. So you see how this isn't moving at all here. Oh, look at that. Nothing really amazing with Spell. It looks like weekly it could be bottoming. So nice bottom on the weekly chart. If you hold long enough, maybe it pops. I don't really have anything great to say on this. On a daily, it doesn't look amazing. Yeah, nothing great here. There are definitely some coins driving the market though, like Link. Uniswap to Pendle. Why are you still holding? I'm surprised you're still holding Uni. I mean, it looks like it's pumping, right? But I would, oh, you got a TD9 on the weekly. I definitely think Pendle looks a lot better compared to Uniswap. Seems like it has a bit of a better future. I don't think Uniswap is there anything going on with Uniswap on a from a fundamental standpoint? I don't think so. Let's look at some other coins that I have, right? So I've talked about ENA a lot, right? I've pumped ENA quite a bit. We've talked about it a lot. Let's take a look at ENA. Weekly still very bullish on ENA. We're just pausing at our 1.618, eventual target 1.3. Breakdown here on a daily consolidation area. So we're still just consolidating. And on a 4-hour, it looks like we could retrace. We had a TD9 that came in. So I'd like to see a further retrace formation of this bull flag. So ENA chart is quite clean, right? And that's basically your bull flag. So I want to see a retrace down to like 50 cents. When Bitcoin drops, I want to see something like this, and then we have our liftoff. This is a very clean chart, very clear pattern. That's kind of why I like ENA. This is what I could see happening, and that's kind of my prediction for that one. Especially since daily is still bearish, but weekly is very bullish. And you can see the difference in this kind of chart versus like that spell chart and some of those other lower cap coins. They're not pretty. ADA we can look at, Cardano. So you can see on a weekly chart, Cardano is also very bullish. On a daily, actually, it's even breaking out. So you can see how different some of these coins look. And this one, I mean, we might just take off. And that's it. This here, and then here. Right. So then you go right to $1. I could see that happening. Will we get a pullback? As of right now, I don't see any pullback. This looks like it was a W and a breakout higher. And you're around your 1.618 level right now. We could reject from here and pull back, and that provides your entry, or we just fly higher up to these highs. At the moment, I don't see any pullback. Oh, you do have a 1-hour divergence here. but on these higher time frames, it looks very bullish. I would stay in spot here, but I couldn't recommend any kind of leverage longs at this point, and I can't recommend leverage shorts here. Hello, Lee. So that's that one. Tau is another pretty big position of mine. Yeah, so you can see how this is just absolutely, all these are kind of rallying. Tau doesn't look great on a weekly. It's really done nothing. I've seen this coin pumped so much, and yet it's basically done nothing since it existed in 2024. It's done nothing. Absolutely nothing. Other than range. I might even exit this position for something else. I don't like how it looks. But as of right now, it's heading higher with everything else. Dot is one that I have a good amount of. So we can see how this is also pumping quite a bit. Weekly chart, not as great as some others, but nice consolidation, potential breakout in the future. This could be your kind of W pattern and push higher eventually to this previous $10 area. Daily looks decent, but you're not even above your 200-day moving average. So not as bullish as some other charts, but you are getting this short-term push higher, which again, I want to look at like a 1 hour, for example, to see a potential for a breakdown and pullback. I still think that this is like a false break higher, and they're just using the lower liquidity of altcoins to allow them to push kind of people around and stop people out of any kind of short positions. XRP. So this is one that should be a little bit clearer. XRP, clear bullish momentum on a weekly chart, clear pump and push higher. This is kind of the range, but the range even could be like here. This is a little bit of an ugly chart, to be perfectly honest. You do have a 7 coming in on the weekly. Daily looks bullish. Yeah, 4 hour pushing higher. There's really no reason to sell or short this just yet, but I don't like the weakness with Bitcoin. Full steam ahead, upward momentum, but I would not recommend. I would, if you're in spot, okay, I wouldn't recommend buying, but if you're in spot, you can hold it. I'm not saying sell yet, but I definitely would not. I would not short this stuff because it's in a weird area. It's a lot of weird things are not really lining up here. But this does look like a breakout. It looks like a breakout, but things just don't align over with Bitcoin and a couple other things I'm seeing with Ethereum, liquidation, stuff like that. This makes me think that this is a false breakout. So I'm cautious. However, I am 100% long with my spot positions. So there's that. Ondo, I mean, it's basically all the same, right? Everything kind of looks the same. That's why I'm going through these, but mostly to show why I don't normally go through them. Because if we just go to the others chart, it essentially looks exactly the same. So you can just look at the others chart, and then that's your answer. And you don't need to go through all those charts. It's just a waste of time. I'm not here to waste anyone's time, including my own. I want to give you guys the most useful information in the quickest amount of time possible. So as of right now, it's just up only. Don't short this. And the question is, when do we get a pullback? Well, this is your 1.618, right? There, you're coming into that tag. We could go to 2.618. Okay. I think that's kind of it. I don't really have anything else. Hopefully that's useful. The main message today is consider the potential for pullbacks, but don't short. Just if you get a pullback, prepare to take longs. And right now everything looks bullish, at least on a lower time frame. But 2 days from now, it could be completely different. Alts move extremely fast, and I think it would be smart to be cautious here. And that's kind of my analysis. I mean, it's in a weird market's in a weird spot. Okay. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll post a summary. Hopefully it was recorded, so I'll post it in the Discord of everything in case you want to send it to someone else. You don't want them to have to waste time watching the video. You can just use the Discord summary. And hope you guys, and I will see you guys next week. All right.